Alrighty, here we go. Three more left. Just three. Houston Texans. This is a playbook I had a lot of experience with. I used it in online CFM when I was using the Texans. And out of the playbooks in the game that are fairly decent, this one drove me nuts a lot. And the reasons for it are, similar to the reasons of a lot of playbooks that frustrate me, yet I still find some use out of. In that it would be so much better if so much more of it was usable. There are quite a few plays in this playbook that have a lot of unique downfield route releases and double moves, but yet don't translate, combined with some very badly designed automotion plays, of which there are an abundance of, which creates a couple of formations in the playbook that are borderline unusable. Like you have this automotion here, zone play, which has the automotion going to both sides, both weak side and strong side. But unfortunately, the blocking on those under center I formation zone plays doesn't make it a very viable, consistent option for yards because you're going to run into situations where the backside collapses on you, or your fullback doesn't run a reliable path to read his block, or both, which will cause you to lose, 2 or 3 yards and put you into second and 13, third and 10, and putting you in a situation where you're behind the sticks and have to throw the ball if you're trying to establish the ground game. Truth be told, this playbook is a little bit dated in the fact that the Texans don't really play like this anymore. This playbook is very much what I would classify, as a matter of fact, when I was playing online CFM with it, I called it the Power West Coast. It's very run friendly with a lot of West Coast passing concepts. It's very much in that Gary Kubiak and Shanahan family style of West Coast offense where they like to run the ball, mostly out of zone blocking schemes, combined with play action shot plays down the field. West Coast classics. That shallow cross play, the Z shallow cross, is one of my favorite variations of shallow cross I found in the game. To the play side, you actually have the back on the same side of the shallow crosser, but breaking out. Usually, most shallow crosses, they have the back on the opposite side of the crosser, and he's breaking across the shallow crosser's route. This one is basically the inverse of that. Plus, you have a post pattern being, not a post pattern, but a corner pattern being run by the tight end. The backside is a mess. Those two square in routes so close together don't make a damn bit of sense. They're not nearly spaced well enough to be of much use. And you can run the ball downhill pretty nicely out of the shotgun with a nice balance of inside zone and halfback base. The playbook is really a little bit of a mix between that Kubiak slash Shanahan style of West Coast offense and what they actually really do play with Bill O'Brien, who has an affinity for stacked wide receiver formations, bunch formations, empty sets, more shots downfield vertically, and more power to the running game as opposed to zone blocking. He's actually quite similar to Josh McDaniels, which makes sense because they both worked with each other with New England. But this playbook in this game is more similar to the Texans playbooks we've seen from several Maddens ago, with a smidge, a very small smidge, of the Patriots playbook that we see in this game. It's kind of like the relationship between the Giants playbook and the Packers playbook in this game. The Giants playbook is half old Giants playbook that's been in the game for a few years, and half Packers playbook. But not enough of what makes both those playbooks good to be of much use. This playbook is much better than the Giants playbook in that regard, in the fact that it's friendly with the meta of the game, but it also can be really, really frustrating. Here I'm attempting to go under center again. This dagger concept is nice, but look at how fast those linebackers can gain width and depth to take away that square in. And you actually saw that the outside linebacker to your left came in on the play fake, and I still couldn't get it over him. It's really, really frustrating how much of the route tree is constricted by how fast linebackers can move laterally and backwards. It really handcuffs what could otherwise be good route combos. Here I'm running downhill. I just run a plain old ISO there. In this game, I played under center quite a bit. The single back jumbo is pretty nice. You got a single back ace, flanker drive, screen. You got a Z spot. I think I come out here in ace counter. Counter's pretty reliable out of this formation. Second level blocking is a bit of an issue. If I get a better path out of that pulling lineman there, I might have scored, but instead I was forced to have to either do a juke or a spin. I tried a juke and it didn't work and I got tackled, even though I got a good gain out of it. Second level blocks need some work. That's part of the reason, or the main reason, why under center, inside and outside zone plays are such a dice roll. They can't be trusted consistently enough to be a main staple of your offense in this year's game. So when people run under center, what do? They run counters and they run power, mostly. That wide receiver corner play is a nice play. It's a little variation of corner strike. And, I'm going to tackle on 3 more points here. So, it's not without its redeeming qualities. This play is a mess. Like I said, I wanted to try to stay under center quite a bit this game. I tried to run this auto motion slip screen. I was trying to see if the auto motion would bait his user backer, but the linemen don't hold before they release with the screen quite long enough to make it difficult to read the screen to begin with, and you get that disaster. Gun spread, Y slot, I really like this formation. It has 2 plays that are a waste of time. The auto motion HB base and the auto motion play action off of that. But other than that, it's a very solid set. I gotta create my outside out routes, of course, since it doesn't have any. You gotta play action deep comebacks, but you don't really have an out route concept to the outside receivers in this playbook at all, really, unless you create it. Their gun bunch, again, meta friendly. You have mesh. I like when I have mesh tied with mesh post. You also have your Z spot. You have Z spot dig. You have play action, wide receiver post. You have a slot option route stick out pattern, and you also have Y trail. Only thing I don't like about it, it's a pretty potent gun bunch there. You see the beauty of mesh post right there. It really confounds a user. Does he follow the shallow cross to the left, to the right, or does he break on the post? I caught him kind of paralyzed, not knowing where he wanted to go, and I was able to hit the post. But what I don't like about the gun bunch set that they have is the runs. I don't like the fact that the runs are a draw and a sweep. Draws, that can happen. And on outside zone type shotgun runs, whether it be a sweep, an off tackle, a outside zone, whatever it's classified, the edge isn't really set very consistently since the patch that basically killed those type of runs. This is a nice play here. That auto motion out of Y trips, shallow cross. Was able to get the post route over the top of his underneath user defenders. So that was that game. This game here, I played more out of the shotgun. I used some empty, some spread Y slot. I use a lot. I use some gun bunch and split back. I basically use most of the shotgun sets that they have. Again, here's my shallow cross. This is your standard shallow cross, really, with the backs crossing the shallow crosser, and I hit the shallow cross there. He plays a healthy dose of Tampa too, so basically it's just a matter of if I want to go outside, reading the drop of the outside corners, and if he's using a backer, keying off of him and his movement, and hopefully I'm able to put him in a bind. There's a nice run there out of the HB base, and a nice little shimmy out of Charles. He's just staying in Tampa 2 out of the 4-3 no matter what I come out in, so I just have to recognize it and go with my cover 2 beaters. Here's good old 2x2 smash. I generally don't like mirrored concepts, but against a guy like this, it comes in handy. And I just pick my corner route because he was playing hard flats, it looked like. Again, in the gun empty. Texan is very nice. It's similar to most of the empty sets that have the halfback and the tight end as wings. You see all those out and up and double move routes by the outside receivers that are in this formation. Look great, but they're not usable. You see that a lot in the single back double set. You have a lot of multiple movement route concepts in that formation, but they don't do anything. Got empty Y flex on the good formation. You got the Y shake, the drive. You have You have Deep Dig. You have three empty sets in this game. That's their homage to the Patriots influence, I suppose. Running some four verse with an out route there. Hit that. Emmanuel Sanders scores. Really good book for a receiving style back. Again, West Coast style playbook. That makes sense. Not a lot of wide receiver screens. This gun trip tight end, I would love to have a wide receiver screen and or a bubble screen and or a tight end screen, something. But I don't have it. Got a nice little angle route here. Man coverage on the linebacker against Charles. I'll take that. That's like stealing. Tons of angle routes. Lots of angle routes in this playbook. But overall, this set is pretty good. One of the stronger sets in the playbook. Didn't have much success on the inside zone there. The play action slot corner is nice. X spot. Here's a tight end screen there. Play action shot wheel is good. It takes some time. It takes a lot of time. But you can bust a zone apart very nicely if you have time to let those routes develop. Three verts with a drag. That's always pretty potent, the way these zones tend to drift. Really good formation here. Here's this back and gun bunch, flanker drive, and inside cross you have as well. You have that C route there on the solo side on the inside cross play. Bunch sets that we've seen all year are such a pain. Watch how these zones drift, and I just wait for space to clear and throw where his user isn't. And I got all that grass to run, and I get a nice little gain there. I think I stay in gun bunch here. Do I kick a field goal? Yeah, I kick a field goal here, so we're going to extend my lead 17-7. I think I got in this game a defensive touchdown or touchdown. I got a touchdown off of a fumble on a kick return. So, there you go. Single back tight doubles. Good set. A lot of stuff you can do. A shallow cross you can run. Texans drag in. Really good. Mesh. Got a corner strike. Running out of it's a little bit iffy outside of the dive. If you try to run stretch, if you try to run a misdirection, kind of got to cross your fingers. There I did an unnecessary spin. Didn't mean to do that. That was a mistake on my part. Now I'm back in shotgun wide trips. That's like stealing. I mean, he's gonna give me a soft corner, and if the curl flat defender has to be occupied with the seamer first, that's just like stealing. I form pro. Again, these auto motions look good. They're not. This auto motion mesh is a mess. What tends to happen is that the auto motion basically increases the chances of a collision with either a linebacker. I've seen that auto motion receiver collide with a lineman before, and it just doesn't really lead to very friendly spacing. I formation misdirection. Basically, this is a zone block counter. The backside does not get crushed, and I get some decent blocking at the point of attack there to gain a few yards. It's just really tough to play under center on a consistent basis and feel comfortable. It really is. Here's all reliable power. This will work. If I could have juked or cut back inside, I'd probably score, but I'm not able to do neither. Bit of a run stick fail by me, but power is pretty reliable. Here I run a jazzed up Z spot. I do a shallow cross and shallow square in combo there to the bunch side, and I'm able to throw his user backer into a tizzy. That was spot dig actually. And you can do stuff like that out of gun bunch sets that can make it really tough to guard for a user defender. One of the pass audibles in this set is play action post. I see Randy Moss there, potentially one-on-one. If he is, I'm going to him. I'm going to high point this bad boy. He runs right by me. And, Randy Moss is going to do Randy Moss things. And that will induce the rage quit. So, where does this playbook fall? It's difficult because it's not bad. It's not a bad playbook. It really isn't. But, doesn't belong in the same category as a top 10. And I can make a case that it belongs in the Bengals, Falcons, Bucks class, but it has more negatives than those three playbooks as well, so I have no choice but to put it at 17, even though it has some very usable things, but also has a lot of things that you can't use, and a little bit of pet peeves that are more personal preference than anything else. I can't function with a playbook that does not have a couple of wide receiver screens in it. I just can't do it. That's borderline mandatory for me. So there you go. Anyway, only got two left. We have the Titans and then the Vikings, and then we're done. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.